In this video I want to talk about how to combine fills with 3D engraves to create the effect that you want. And this job is a typical sign that I'm trying to create, and I've tried all the variations of the standard 3D engrave. I've gone to a bigger letter, I've tried to wider conical tool, I've tried to lower my depth down, but I really didn't like the effects either one of those had. I really want to use this 90-degree conic bit, and I'm still left with these islands. So how do I get rid of this stuff? How do I take care of that? Well, in EnRoute it's pretty simple, but you have to go to a different strategy, and this is what throws quite a few people off. So let me show you how to set that up. First thing we'll do is we'll get out of perspective here, and here's my toolpath set up with the 90-degree conic, and you can really see these islands that would open up in the job. So the first thing I got to do is go see ya and get rid of those toolpaths, because to do this combination of a fill and a 3D engrave, that's critical because we have to go into the fill parameters. So let's go to the fill parameters and set this up. And here I'm just going to switch my sort tools by all, and I'm going to bring up my combination of 1/4 inch end mill, and let's bring in an 1/8 inch end mill just to clean up the fine details, and go back to the island fill parameters or video if you need to find out what these different types are. And then what I'm going to do though is I'm going to bring up my 90-degree conic as the clean pass. And if I set this all up, and I'm just going to say we'll go down, let's say 0.7, which is identical to my last job, and it automatically fills all these in for you. And here I can set up my feeds and speeds for the first two tools, but it's under the clean pass with the conic that is critical. So I want to go into my cut definitions here, and notice I've got a 3D toolpaths box checked. And if I check that on, what EnRoute's going to do is it's going to create a 3D engrave toolpath as that clean pass. Not only that, it'll adjust the fill and the fine toolpaths to make sure that there's enough material left to create that clean toolpath with the 3D engrave. And that's all there is to it. It's very simple to set up once you understand the concept. So here's, you see the green lines are my 3D engraved clean passes, and you can see them pulling up here into the corner. The purple lines are my standard 1/4 inch end mill doing the fill work, and then the pink lines here, and if I zoom in on it a little bit you'll see this clear, my pink lines are where that 1/8 inch end mill is getting the finer details that I needed to get, and I pretty much knew that I was going to need that just by looking at those islands. If I hadn't put this in here, then what we get is just a little bit of reverse islanding right there, because the 1/4 inch end mill would not be able to quite get into those tight corners that the conic tool is creating. So let's take a look at this in rendered view, and we'll see what this looks like. And here it is rendered out, and you can see that's a nice clean sign. All those islands that we couldn't get rid of with the standard 3D engrave are now nice flat areas at the depth that we picked. And here's where that smaller tool got in and got that fine detail for me. So here is how you create jobs where the 3D engrave, the standard 3D engrave, doesn't quite get you there, and it's a combination of fills and engraves. And if you think about it that way, it'll point you to the right strategy to start in. If you got to think that you've got to combine a fill with an engrave, so you go to the fill tool and then you create a clean pass with a tapered or conic tool, and check on that 3D engraved toolpath, and here's what you get. So this is another powerful way to combine techniques in EnRoute to get the effect that you want.